Good day, everyone. Welcome to our oral communication subject. This is Miss Ira Bombase, and for today's discussion, we will be having our lesson 8, which is the fundamentals of public speaking. Here are our objectives for today. First is to define public speaking, second is to give the elements of public speaking, and third is the types of speech, which are according to purpose and delivery, and lastly is the speech delivery for different situations. So, public speaking is one of the most important communication skills you can develop. Whether you are presenting a project in class, delivering a speech in front of a crowd, or even introducing yourself in a formal event, all of this require confidence and clarity in speaking. So let's give another definition of public speaking. Particularly, this is the act of preparing, staging, and delivering a presentation to an audience. So in simple words, it is about communicating information before a group of people, no? Let me show you this. Okay? A group of people usually to inform, influence, or entertain. So, yung public speaking, hindi lang siya basta pagsasalita sa harap ng tao. It involves preparation. Dapat ikaw ay prepared muna. You should have your research about the topic you'd like to deliver in front of your audience. No? You should have your confidence. Dapat ikaw ay merong tiwala sa sarili mo sa pagbibigay ng mga detalye or impormasyon sa mga taong nakaharap sa'yo dahil doon papasok yung trust or credibility. If you are confident, your audience will believe on what you are saying in front of them. And of course, purpose. No? Kailangan ay before you even start, you should know your purpose. Ano ba yung dahilan kung bakit ikaw ay mag-speech, bakit ikaw yung inimbitahan, bakit ikaw yung resource speaker rather, no? So you should have the purpose even before and after your speech delivery. So when you speak publicly, you are not just expressing your thoughts, you are sharing a message that can impact your audience. Okay? So think of examples like a student leader addressing an assembly or a professional giving a presentation in a meeting. So each of them uses public speaking to connect, persuade, and inspire others. Now, what's the purpose of public speaking? Let's go back here for a moment. Okay. So the purpose of public speaking rather, is always purposeful. Okay? So, lagi siyang merong purpose. It could be to inform, to influence, to entertain the audience. Okay? So, for example, kung ang isang teacher ay nag explain ng topic, no, sa harap ng mga estudyante, that's to inform. And then, when a politician delivers a campaign speech, that's to influence para maimpluwensyahan ang mga taong nakikinig sa kanya na iboto siya. Okay? Halimbawa na siya ay nangangandidato, no? And then, when a stand-up comedian performs, that's to entertain, para magbigay ng aliw, ng saya, no? Kaya dapat every speech has a clear goal. Ask yourself, what do I want my audience to learn, to feel, or do after hearing me? Now let's move forward to the elements of public speaking. There are five main elements: who, what, whom, medium, and effect. Who, this is the speaker or message or the source of the message. This refers to the speaker. You are the one delivering the message. So your tone, body language, and credibility matter. Next, what? The message itself. What is your message? It should be clear, relevant, and meaningful. Next, whom? Whom is the audience or receiver? Always consider who they are, no? Their age, their background, and interests. Next, medium. This is how the speech is delivered. Okay, the delivery method. Face-to-face ba, recorded ba, online ba, or even through a podcast. Next is effect. This is the result or impact of the speech. Effect is the outcome. Okay, so did your audience understand you? Were they inspired or moved to action? Okay? So in short, public speaking is not just about talking. It is about connecting. Your message must reach and move your audience. Now that we know the definition and elements of public speaking, let's move forward to the types of speech, where we'll learn about the different kinds of speeches according to purpose and delivery. Okay, we have here types of speech according to purpose. According to purpose, there are five main types of speech: the informative speech, inspirational speech, argumentative speech, persuasive speech, and entertaining speech. So each of these has a different goal: to teach, to inspire, to argue, to persuade, or to entertain. Let's explore them one by one. Okay. An informative speech aims to teach the audience something new. Okay. Its purpose is to provide knowledge or clarify an idea. For example, a student explaining how climate change affects our daily lives is delivering an informative speech. So ang layunin ng informative speech ay magbahagi ng impormasyon na kapaki-pakinabang sa mga tagapakinig. It should be well organized and easy to understand. This is the most common types of speech, aims to teach the audience something new, no? Or provide worthwhile information. Speaker provides clear understanding of a concept or idea and exposes his or her listener to information that he or she does not know yet. So again, the information must be arranged in a clear, logical manner and in such a way that the audience will understand the topic better and will be led towards making conclusions as intended. So we have here the three types of informative speech. The first one is demonstration or explanation, second is definition, and third is description. A demonstration or explanation speech is more commonly known as the how to speech or a process speech. So the speaker presents the process of how something. Wait for a second. Okay, how something works, how something is done, developed, operated, or acquired. Objects, visual aids, or physical activities can be used to enhance the explanation or demonstration. So, for example, demonstrating how to bake a cake, no, or explaining how solar panels produce electricity. So, you can use visual aids or actual objects to make your explanation clearer. Mas naiintindihan kasi ng audience kapag merong ipinapakitang halimbawa or larawan habang nagsasalita ka. That's why preparation and visuals are important in demonstration or explanation. Next, we have the definition. Definition aims to give the meaning of words, phrases, or issues which may be considered controversial or difficult to understand. Dito naman sa definition speech, it explains the meaning of a word, concept, or issue. This type is useful when your topic may be new, technical, or controversial. So, for instance, defining artificial intelligence or mental health awareness to your audience. So, your goal is to make your listeners understand complex ideas in simple terms. Okay? Always remember clarity is more important than complexity. Okay. Next, we have the description speech. This is the third type. Okay? Speaker draws a mental picture of what is being said in the mind of the listeners, aims to make the audience imagine how a person or an object would look like or how an experience might feel like. Okay, so dito naman sa description speech, it paints a picture through words. Okay, it allows the audience to imagine what you are talking about. It could be a person, may it be a person, a place, or an event. So, for example, describing the beauty of Banawe Rice Terraces, no? Or the experience of a graduation day. Okay? So, nai-imagine dapat ni audience. Okay? So, you have to use vivid language so that your listeners can feel and see what you mean. You have to be very descriptive in using your words this time. Okay? So, gamitin natin yung mga descriptive words para maramdaman ng audience yung sinasabi mo. Para bang nakikita nila mismo sa isip nila ang iyong pinapaliwanag. Okay, next. I have here the tips on becoming an effective informative speaker. Okay, so here are some helpful tips to become an effective informative speaker. The first one is to choose a topic that will be interesting to the audience. Okay, choose an interesting topic, something that your audience will relate to. Dapat ay relatable, ka-relate-relate sa mga audience mo. Okay? Second is quality over quantity. Keep it simple. So you have to focus on quality over quantity. You have to make it simple and clear. Third is to use terms that your audience will understand. You have to avoid jargon. No, we already discussed what jargon is. Meron tayong business jargons, educational jargons, no? Jargons are words, complex words that are just used by the people who are working in that particular field. For example, in the medical field, so yung doctors and nurses, gumagamit sila ng mga terminologies na familiar lang para sa kanila. So kapag narinig ng mga pasyente, ng mga common persons, it would be difficult or hard for them to understand those words, the meaning of those words kasi hindi sila working in the same field. Okay? That is jargon. Okay? So, ipasok naman natin sa educational field or educational context, no? Kapag ang mga students ay narinig na nagkukwentuhan ng mga teachers using the words, technical words na hindi nila masyado naiintindihan, no? Because we are using this in line of our work. Okay? For example, pedagogic, pedagogical. Again, pedagogical. Okay? Ang spelling nun ay Pedagogical. So, I actually search an educational jargon, no, that are used in teaching pedagogical. Ang ibig sabihin nun ay teaching methods. Okay? So, kapag iyon ay narinig siguro ninyo, ginagamit ng mga principal, ng mga teachers, it would be hard for you to understand the meaning or to even know what the word is, no? Kasi nga, ginagamit lang siya ng mga people working on that field. Okay? Next, you have to use facts and statistics in moderation. Okay? Remember the moderation. Okay? Baka naman nagbigay ka na lang ng nagbigay ng mga stats out of 100%, out of 50%. No, 20 people said that. Okay, so napuno na ng statistics ang iyong audience, hindi mo naman na ipaliwanag. So, it should be in moderation lang. Next, you have to stick to your purpose of providing information. Alright? So, you have to remember that your goal is to inform, not to impress. Speak with clarity and confidence. Next, we have inspirational speech. This aims to motivate or inspire an audience to help them be positive and optimistic, and it makes the audience desire to achieve their goals in life, uplift their faith, or maximize their potentials. So remember that this type of speech aims to motivate. Okay? Or uplift an audience. It inspires hope, positivity, and perseverance. For example, a commencement speech by a successful graduate encouraging others to chase their dreams, or a motivational talk by a teacher reminding students to believe in themselves. Okay? Mga nakaka-inspire, nakaka-uplift ng mood. Okay? So, ang inspirational na talumpati in Tagalog, ito ay nakakapagbigay ng pag-asa at inspirasyon sa mga tagapakinig. It touches the heart, not just the mind of the audience. I have here tips on becoming an effective inspirational speaker. Okay? So, to deliver an effective inspirational speech, the first one is you have to speak from the heart. You have to be sincere in what you say. Kasi ang audience, ang mga tagapakinig, alam nila yan kung totoo or sincere ka sa iyong mga sinasabi. Next is be the first to believe in your topic. You have to believe in your topic. Okay? So, your conviction will inspire others. Next is to keep your audience's interests at its highest. Ibig sabihin, you have to keep your audience engaged. Okay? Use emotional stories or examples. Mas maganda kapag personal stories. And then, be your best self. You have to show your authenticity and passion. So, when you speak with genuine emotion, your message will stay in the hearts of your listeners. Next, we have argumentative speech. This aims to convert the audience to agree on the speaker's point or side. Okay? Primarily centers on controversial issues wherein the speaker presents evidence supporting his claim of truth. So dito naman, it aims to convince the audience again to agree with your position by using logic and evidence. So mas maiengganyo mo kasi kapag ikaw ay naglatag ng mga ebidensya. So it's common in debates or persuasive discussions. For example, arguing whether social media does more harm than good. Okay? Nakabatay again ito sa mga katwiran, no, at ebidensya. Hindi lang basta opinyon, kailangan ito ay may patunay at lohikal na paliwanag. Okay, the objective of the speaker is to arrive at the truth of the matter after the presentation of a logical series of reasons and evidence. So next we have the types of appeal used in argumentative speeches. First is to appeal to reason or logos. Second, appeal to emotions or pathos. Third is to appeal to character or ethos. Okay, appeal to reason. This is a rhetorical strategy used to lead an audience in making a conclusion based on facts presented by the speaker. So the appeal to reason, no, you have to remember logos. Okay, that is logos. Because this uses logic and evidence to persuade the audience. This means presenting data, facts, and rational arguments that make sense. Okay, for example, people should stop smoking because research suggests it may cause cancer and lead to death. In this example, the speaker uses scientific evidence, not emotion, okay, to convince the audience. Sa madaling sabi, ito ang paggamit ng katwiran, no, at ebidensya para makumbinse ang mga tagapakinig. Next is appeal to emotions or pathos. Ito naman ay strategy used to persuade an audience by targeting their feelings. Okay, appeal to emotion. So this connects to the audience's feelings. It's about touching their hearts to make them understand or act. Example, people should stop smoking because I don't want to lose my father at such a young age. Okay, so here the speaker appeals to emotion. Could be sadness, fear, or love in order to persuade. Madalas ginagamit ito ng mga inspirational speaker, no? Kapag maramdamin at tapat kasi yung tono mo, mas naaantig yung puso ng mga taga-pakinig. Appeal to emotions. Next, we have appeal to character or ethos. Okay. So this one is a strategy used to persuade an audience based on the character of the persuader or the speaker. Okay. It focuses on the credibility of the speaker. It means the audience believes you, no, because they trust who you are. For example, people stop smoking and listen to doctors to what the doctors say. Okay? Because they know what they are doing. Okay? So if you have expertise or good reputation, people are more likely to believe you. No, kaya mahalaga din sa isang tagapagsalita ang integridad at kredibilidad. So kung mapagkakatiwalaan ka, mas malakas yung epekto ng iyong pananalita. Okay? We have appeal to reason, appeal to emotion, and appeal to character. Okay? Logos, pathos, and ethos. Next, we have persuasive speech. Ito naman, aims at convincing an audience to believe or adopt something, attempts to influence not only the audience's beliefs, but also its attitude and behavior. Okay? So, this type of speech aims to convince the audience to believe in or do something. Persuasive speaking is not just about giving facts, it's about influencing both beliefs and actions. For example, a campaign encouraging people to recycle or a student running for student council convincing classmates to vote. Okay? So, yung layunin ng persuasive speech ay baguhin yung pananaw mo or yung kilos mo bilang isang tagapakinig or bilang isang audience. So, hindi lang basta tumatak sa isip, kundi pati sa puso. This type of speech can make people apply what they have learned or do the action immediately or in the future. So, dapat merong integration ng learning. Dapat merong action na mangyayari. Okay, so let's just go back here. I'll give just some additional points. No. So a successful persuasive speaker, no, doesn't just inform. It inspires action. It makes the audience say, yes, I agree, or I will do it. No? For instance, a public service announcement that motivates citizens to donate blood or plant trees. That is persuasion in action. So, kapag ang tagapakinig ay napakilos mo, no, ibig sabihin, naging epektibo ang iyong pananalita or ang iyong speech. Now, we have the tips on becoming an effective persuasive speaker. Here are some key tips, no, for persuasive speaking. First is to establish credibility. You have to let your audience trust you. Second is to convey passion and enthusiasm. Okay? You have to believe in what you say. It has to start from you, no? And lastly is to choose a doable proposition. So you have to suggest realistic actions. Baka naman kasi yung mga suggestions mo ay beyond your capacity to be able to do that, no? Suntok sa buwan, ika nga. Huwag ka na mag-suggest ng ganun. Kasi they are expecting you to have this action to perform this actual suggestions that you've said. Okay? So you have to remember also that passion plus purpose equals persuasion. Kapag naniniwala ka sa sinasabi mo, mararamdaman ito ng audience mo. Next is entertaining speech. Okay? Usually short and delivered, just to give the audience an enjoyable and relaxing experience. Makes use of humorous stories and funny anecdotes with the help of comic illustrations. So, dito naman, entertaining speech aims to make the audience just enjoy and relax. Okay? It often includes humorous stories, jokes, or anecdotes, but still has a meaningful message. For example, an MC's opening spiel during a program no? Or a funny storytelling session that still teaches a lesson. So most of the Pinoys, they want this entertaining speech. Yung medyo kwela, medyo nakakatawa, merong humor, no? Para hindi daw mabore. Okay? Very engaged tayo in this type of speech. So, what else? Ang entertaining speech, hindi lang siya para of course magpatawa kahit merong integration ng humorous tone, no? Minsan, sa gitna ng tawanan, may mga aral pa rin na ipapahayag. So we have here the tips on becoming an effective entertainment speaker. So in order for you to deliver an entertaining speech effectively, first you have to open with an anecdote. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Start with a story or a funny situation. Okay? So kapag kasi doon ka nagsimula, ma-engage mo agad yung viewers mo or yung audience mo like, okay, parang medyo kuwela 'tong, mag-speech, 'tong speaker na 'to, parang magugustuhan ko 'to. So, i-caught mo muna yung attention nila. So, just like in teaching, we start it with, of course, the greeting, the prayer, and everything. That's the actually formal, flow of class discussion. And then we proceed with the motivation. Yung motivation could be either, a game or in another form, no, just to get the attention of the students. So in here, if you become an entertainment speaker, you have to start with a funny story or funny situation to get their attention as well. Next is to explain the point of the anecdote. You should always remember, don't forget no, the lesson behind the humor. Baka naman patawa ka lang ng patawa, joke ka lang ng joke, wala namang lesson. You have to always integrate learning or lessons after those jokes. Okay? Or after those funny situation or stories. Next is to spread your anecdotes evenly. So, wag puro umpisa lang nakakatawa, no? Naging comedy bar na lang. Hindi na pala siya naging entertainment speech. Okay? You have to stick with your purpose. Next is to conclude with a memorable ending. You have to always finish strong. Okay? Leave a smile to your audience. Okay? So entertainment is not just laughter, it's about making your audience feel good and think deeply. So sa huli, sabi nga nila, ang magaling na speaker ay marunong magbigay ng kasiyahan habang nagtuturo ng aral. Now that we've covered all types of speech according to purpose, let's move on to the next major section, which is the types of speech according to delivery. This time, we learn about how speeches are actually delivered, whether it's read, memorized, or delivered spontaneously. Okay. So there are four main types of speech delivery. We have reading from a manuscript, memorized speech, extemporaneous speech, and impromptu speech. So each one has its own strengths, challenges, and best use situations. San kayang sitwasyon pinakang okay gamitin ang memorized speech? Sang kayang sitwasyon pinaka-okay gamitin ang extemporaneous speech? Sa kayang sitwasyon pinaka-okay gamitin ang impromptu speech? No? Saan kaya okay gamitin, pinaka-okay gamitin ang reading from a manuscript. Okay? We'll find that out later on. So, you have also to remember na hindi lahat ng talumpate pare-pareho yung paraan ng pagbigkas. No? It actually depends sa layunin, sa okasyon, at sa iyong karanasan bilang isang tagapagsalita or bilang isang speaker. So let's start with reading from a manuscript. The material or speech is written out word for word and the speaker will just have to read it. Ibig sabihin, meron kang hawak na kodigo, okay, or manuscript. This involves reading the entire speech word for word from a written manuscript. So it's common in formal settings like newscasting using a teleprompter, legal proceedings in court, reading rules in criteria in contests. Okay? So, ang advantage nito is accuracy since nakasulat na lahat ng mga importanteng detalye na kailangan mong banggitin, wala ka nang malilimutan. Okay? So, you can repeat exactly what was written. But its disadvantage is that it can be sound boring or mechanical if not practiced well. Okay? So, mahalaga din yung rehearsal. Dapat natural pa rin yung tunog kahit binabasa. Okay? So, can you observe how news anchors deliver their lines? No, nagbabasa sila, but they sound conversational and confident. Mukhang wala silang binabasa, parang sa ulo lang nila. Pero yun ay reading from a manuscript. Meron talaga silang teleprompter. Okay. So, the next one is this. Speaking situations, just like what I've told you earlier, no, newscasting with a teleprompter or an auto cue device, presenting the legal proceedings and verdict in court, and then reading the rules and criteria in contest. Okay, so advantages, exact repetition of the written words, guided speech, and disadvantage naman niya is somehow boring and uninteresting presentation. And sometimes it lacks audience rapport or connection kasi nga binabasa mo na lang siya. And then, ang tips naman dito is for you to rehearse the speech over and over again until you sound natural. Next is to observe accomplished news anchors and note how conversational they sound when they deliver the news. Next, we have the memorized speech. Ito naman, this is the type of delivery where the entire speech is committed to memory. Sa ulado. Okay? This is when you deliver your speech entirely from memory, no notes, no script. Examples include declamation contests, oratorical speeches, and stage plays. So kapag kasi kabusado mo yung talumpate, no, mas malaya kang gumalaw at makipag-eye contact sa audience mo. Pero of course, meron din yung risk. Okay. Advantages, exact repetition of the written words from memory, free to move around the stage. Disadvantages naman, speakers might end up speaking in a monotone pattern. Alternatively, he or she might take a fast pace. Sobrang bilis na magsalita, hindi na iniisip yung integration ng emotions or paano makakonekta sa mga audience kasi nasa isip na lang para matapos na. Baka kasi meron ako malimutan. When we say monotone, iisa na lang yung boses mo. Kung ganun kalakas ang boses mo from the start, matatapos yung boses mo na ganito ring kalakas from the start. Hindi mo na nai-integrate yung um, tamang dynamics, 'no? Siyempre kailangan medyo mahina minsan, minsan naman kung meron kang i-e-emphasize ay kailangan nating lakasan ng boses. And for the tips, you have to rehearse the speech over and over again until you sound natural and feel confident. And then you have to observe how actors or actresses perform their script in a theater, television, or movie scenes. So magagaling talaga yung mga artista, 'no? Kasi ang hahaba ng mga linya nila but they are still able to integrate or to include the emotions as well as yung minemorize nilang speech. Okay? That's why memorization must be paired with practice and confidence. So basta wag lang basta kabisado, dapat dama mo rin yung bawat salitang binibitawan mo. Next, we have extemporaneous speech. Ito naman is planned and outlined, but not committed to memory and not read to. Okay, idea is not to memorize the speech, but be familiar with how to express the ideas. Actually, this is one of the most effective and natural delivery styles. No, planned and outlined siya, pero hindi siya fully memorized, no, or binabasa. The speaker knows the key ideas and delivers them conversationally. Parang nakikipagkwentuhan or nakikipag-usap lang. For example, when a class officer, okay, delivers a campaign speech or when you report a topic in class. That's actually extemporaneous. Okay? What else? Um, the advantages, let's move forward with that, no? Helps you look confident, engages the audience. Ang disadvantage naman may not have adequate time to plan, organize, and rehearse. And ang tips naman dito is for you to create an outline, no? You have to know your main points, organize your points logically, most important to least important or vice versa. Pero I suggest always start with the most important, no? And then use your facts and real life experiences as your examples. They make your speech more relatable kasi. And then manage your time well. Practice your pacing. Rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. The more you practice, the more natural you'll sound. Kasi ang sekreto dito ay pagiging handa pero natural. So, sa ganitong paraan, magmumukhang spontaneous yung pagsasalita mo kahit handang-handa ka talaga from the start. Okay? Next, we have we're done with the extemporaneous speech. Now we'll proceed with the impromptu speech. Ano naman yung impromptu? This is delivered at the spur of the moment. So no planning is done and the speaker is not scheduled to speak. Okay? No preparations, no notes. Common situations include in an event when you are asked to say a few words, no? First day at work or in class or during an interview. When unexpectedly called to speak. Okay? So, ang tinetest kasi dito sa impromptu speech is your presence of mind and your confidence as well. Advantages, spontaneous or natural speaking, kung ano lang yung pumasok sa isip mo, yun na yung sasabihin mo. You are more focused and brief, very short lang. Disadvantages naman ito, or negative point of view naman dito, negative points is the tendency to be disorganized, no? Kasi may halo ng kaba. Minsan sa impromptu, kung ano-ano na lang nasasabi. Minsan lumalayo na dun sa topic na naibigay sa'yo or sa question na naibigay sa'yo. Lacks connection with the audience, no? And then nerve-wracking for inexperienced speakers and beginners. Okay, I'm thinking of having this as your performance task, yung impromptu speech. Very random or funny questions lang, and then you have to say your POV about it, about 1 minute per student or 2 minutes per student, no? Let's just see kung paano ka mag-deliver ng information, ng message, ng speech at the same time kung gaano kabilis tumakbo ang iyong isipan. Okay. And then, how would you construct your sentences even it's just an impromptu speech or bigla ang pagtatanong, kumbaga, yung bato ng tanong ay hindi ka handa. Okay? And then the tips, of course, once you are requested to say something, you have to pause for a moment to plan in your head what to say. You have to state your main point briefly, mabilis lang, and deliver it at a pace your audience can follow. Okay? So, syempre, main point muna. And then, kailangan ay komportable ang pace ng iyong pagsasalita. Ibig sabihin, hindi sobrang bilis, hindi rin naman sobrang bagal. And end with a brief thank you. Okay? So, dito sa impromptu, ang sikreto dito ay presence of mind at tamang pacing. Hindi kailangang perfect, of course, wala namang perfect, basta malinaw at may sense yung sinasabi mo. Now, let's proceed with this one. Now we're done. We've mastered the different types of speech according to delivery. Let's move to our final section, which is how to adjust your speech depending on the situation or setting. Okay, let me show you the next slide. All right. So, ito naman, how do we adjust our speaking techniques based on different situations, no? Because every speaking situation is unique, we must adapt to the audience size, the venue or environment, okay? Whether we use a microphone or a podium. Let's go through each one and discuss how to handle them effectively. Let's start with speaking to a specific audience size. Audience size depends on the venue size. Okay, this is the first factor. Audience size. Speaking before a large crowd is very different from speaking in a small classroom. A small audience allows for a personal and conversational tone, while a large audience actually often requires a formal and projected voice. So kapag maliit ang grupo, mas maganda kung relax, no? At diretso, direct yung tono mo. Pero kung marami naman tao, dapat mas malinaw, mas malakas, at saka mas confident yung boses mo. Okay? So for example, addressing 20 classmates, versus 500 students in a school assembly, the approach should adjust accordingly. Okay? So here are some useful reminders. We're done with the advantages. You can determine your approach with your audience. More intimate and personal kapag mas maunti ang bilang ng audience, mas formal naman kung mas marami yung audience size. At ang disadvantage, this can be challenging and intimidating. And of course, we have the tips. First is ask organizers about the audience size beforehand. Bago ka mag-deliver ng speech, alamin mo muna kung ilan ba yung bilang, gaano karami, gaano kaunti, no? Ang iyong audience, yung makikinig sa'yo. Practice your delivery style according to the crowd. For small groups, use a friendly, engaging tone. For large groups, be clear, slow, and expressive. Okay? You also have to remember confidence grows with preparation. You have to be prepared. The more you rehearse, the more natural your delivery becomes. Next, we have the speaking in an open air venue or outside a building. Examples, open courts or grounds, football fields, farms, etc. No? So, ito naman ay outdoor speaking actually has very unique challenges. Noise, distractions, heat, no, init, or even wind, sobrang lakas ng hangin. No, but it also gives a relaxed and vibrant atmosphere. So, yung pagsasalita naman natin sa labas ay masaya, pero of course, meron din itong mga risks, meron din mga hamon, no, gaya ng ingay, panahon, kailangan mo maging flexible at syempre, kailangan mo marunong mag-adjust. Okay, we're done with the advantages and disadvantages, no? And then for the tips, you have to check the venue early. Okay? You have to familiarize yourself with the space. Second is to ask about available equipment. So, will there be a microphone, speakers, ano pa bang kailangan, ready na ba, kompleto na ba? Third is to project your voice clearly. You have to use your diaphragm, not just your throat. Okay? Fourth is to engage the audience visually. You have to use gestures and movement to keep the attention. And lastly, use the environment creatively. Mention your surroundings to connect your speech to the place. Okay? For example, if you're speaking in a park, no, you can open by saying just like this open space, let's also open our minds today. No? So yun pa lang, it instantly connects with your setting or with your space. Next, we have speaking in different venues, such as classrooms, conference rooms, auditoriums, or open courts. So, each venue requires adjustments in non-verbal cues. Hindi lang sa verbal, kailangan din natin mag-adjust sa non-verbal, and we already talk about the non-verbal communication, right? So, your voice volume, your body language, your facial expressions. So, kung maliit ang lugar, mas makikita ka ng audience ng malipitan, no? Kaya dapat mas maayos ang eye contact, gestures, at posture mo. Kung malaki naman ang lugar, kailangan mas malawak ang galaw at mas malinaw yung boses mo. Okay? For the tips, of course, to adapt to any venue, the first one you should consider, you must keep in your mind, is to check the venue beforehand. No? Visit days before if possible. Okay? Arrive hours earlier at the venue. You have to arrive early. Test mo na yung microphone, tingnan mo na yung audience view, no? In large venues, speak more slowly and use pauses to emphasize ideas. In small venues, control your gestures and keep them natural. And then, of course, always practice, no? The key to confidence is familiarity. Practice makes perfect, ika nga. So, great speakers like those we see in TED Talks, very sikat, very famous, no? YouTube content, TED Talks, or public forums, always rehearse with the venue in mind. Next, we have speaking with the microphone. Ito naman, its main function is to increase the volume of your voice, not to clarify the pronunciation and enunciation of words. Okay? So, a microphone's purpose is to amplify your voice, not to fix your pronunciation or tone, no? Hindi porket gagamit ka ng mic, eh, magiging okay na yung pronunciation mo, mas gaganda na siya, mas magiging tugma na sa tamang pronunciation. That's wrong, okay? So many speakers make the mistake of depending too much on the mic, okay? Tandaan nyo, ang mikropono, tulong lang yan. Hindi yan tagapagligtas. Okay? Hindi yan savior. That's just help. So, kung mahina ang boses mo o mali ang bigkas, lalakas lang din ang mali. Okay? So, learn how to use it properly. Okay, I haven't just edited this yellow part, no? Pero yan ay speaking with the microphone. Okay? So we're done with the advantages, disadvantages, no? Don't overuse or underuse it. And then for the tips, here are some reminders. The first one is to check if it works properly before your speech. Lalo na baka naman iisa lang yung mic tapos hindi pa gumagana. You have to always check. Second is to adjust distance, usually about one fist away from your mouth. No, hindi yung dikit na sa labi mo ang microphone. Third is don't shout. Let the mic do the work. Okay? Minsan kasi kapag mataas yung emosyon, napapasigaw na, eh meron pang mic, no? Ma-overstimulate naman ang iyong mga audience. Fourth is to speak clearly and modulate your tone. Fifth is if the venue is small, you might not need a mic at all. You just have to project naturally. Okay? So you have to practice speaking with a microphone beforehand so you can sound natural and confident. And next, we have speaking with a podium or lectern. Okay, so this is the reading desk with a stand and a slanted laptop. Okay, this is where you can place your notes or your manuscript. Actually, it's helpful for both extemporaneous and manuscript speeches because you can glance at your outline while maintaining posture. No, kasi merong pinaglalagyan. But some speakers tend to hide behind the podium, which limits their gestures and connection with the audience. So remember, yung podium, hindi yan nandiyan para pagtaguan. Hindi yan taguan. Ito ay gabay. So kaya gamitin natin ito ng may kumpiyansa at ah hindi pagtatago, no? Okay. So what I've mentioned are our advantages and disadvantages. I made it very simple, but I'll let you have this module, no? The detailed information para kung gusto nyong basahin ulit, balikan ulit ang video lecture, you can do so. Of course, we have the tips for using a podium or lectern. First is to stand straight. Good posture shows confidence. Okay. Second is to avoid gripping the edges. It can show nervousness. Wala ka nang ginawa kundi panggigilan sa paghahawak yung side ng podium, no? Yun ay nagpapakita, no, pinapahalata mo na ikaw ay kinakabahan. The third is to don't hide your hands, use gestures naturally. Pinag-usapan natin yan sa nonverbal, you have to use gestures, body language. Fourth, step aside occasionally. So kapag ikaw ay komportable, galaw-galaw ka, move slightly to connect better with your audience. And fifth is practice. Get used to your setup before the actual event. So, remember din 'no, na yung maayos na postura mo, yung maayos na tindig, mahinahong galaw, at matatag na boses ay senyales ng isang mahusay na tagapagsalita or speaker. Okay? So, let's summarize what we've learned today. Okay? Public speaking involves preparation, which is the planning and organizing your message. Okay. And then purpose, knowing why you are speaking. Delivery, choosing how you'll deliver your speech. Adaptation, adjusting to your audience and setting. Okay. So you have to remember, great speakers are not born. They are trained. Lahat yan ay merong practice. Every time you speak in front of others, you are improving your communication skills. Kaya wag tayong matatakot magsalita sa publiko dahil yung bawat pagkakataon, no, yun ay pagsasanay na natin sa pagiging mahusay na speaker. So, if you'd like more real life examples, no, I can give you some. Okay, for the great public speakers dahil hindi pala ako nakapagbigay kanina, we have of course Dr. Jose Rizal, which used speeches and writings to inspire reform and nationalism. And then sino ba yung pinakasikat na lumipad ang aming team? Of course, we have Miss Jessica Soho. She delivers news with clarity and confidence. Kita-kita naman natin yan. She is a very good model for manuscript reading. Who else? Um, we have Leia Salonga, which inspires others through heartfelt speeches about art and discipline. And based doon sa photo na pinakita ko sa inyo, before we even start our discussion, we have former President Barack Obama. So great public speakers din ang mga presidents and leaders, no? For the local, we have the example, our former President Ninoy Aquino, no? Nung time na nagbigay siya ng speech about sa the Filipino is worth dying for, which moved an entire nation. Okay? Each of them practiced, prepared, and spoke with purpose. So kaya kung kaya nila, of course, kaya mo rin. You just need to start speaking with heart and confidence. So that concludes our lesson 8, which is the fundamentals of public speaking. Today we learned the definition, elements, and types of speeches, both according to purpose and delivery. And of course, how to adapt our speaking style to different situations. Always remember, public speaking is not about being perfect. It is about being prepared, purposeful, and passionate. Ang mahusay na tagapagsalita ay hindi lang marunong magsalita, kundi marunong makinig, magpahayag, at magbigay inspirasyon. Thank you for watching, and I hope this lesson helps you become a more confident and effective communicator. See you on the next one. Thank you and goodbye.